We talked about the economy a little bit, with inflation out of control, a housing market that has made home ownership unattainable for many, and gas prices, as you know, through the roof. Many financial professionals say when it comes to a recession, it's not a question of if it will happen, but more when it will happen, especially after stocks plunged again on Friday to cap off a terrible month for the major indexes. So the more important question is, how do you be prepared for something like a recession? And joining us with help, certified financial educator and author of the book How Money Works, Steve Siebold, with advice on how to put a little more money in our wallets. Steve, good to see you this morning. And what's the first steps we should be taking to do so, to prepare?
Well, I think tightening up maybe 10 to 15% per month might be a good idea on your monthly budget. Just kind of being a little bit more conservative to see what happens here.
Okay, Steve, so I'm going to just keep it real here. That's excellent advice, but most people in reality don't keep the budget to begin with. So finding that 10 to 15%, is that just not going out to dinner a couple of times a month?
Yeah, I mean, looking at everything you spend money on, it's amazing how fast money goes out the door, whether you have a little or a lot. And so I think just tightening up, even if you don't have a budget, which, as you said, most people don't, look at your expenditures on a daily basis and just start cutting back a little at a time.
All right, so that's one way to save in anticipation of maybe the markets or the economy turning south later this year. Another thing you're saying is if you need that money, if you want to get a little extra money, you might have it hidden away somewhere and not even realize it.
Yeah, start cleaning out your closets, your garage, your attic. It's amazing the stuff we collect over a period of years, and see if you can sell some of that stuff on Facebook Marketplace or, eBay or wherever it is. There's all these places you can do that, and you can pull in some pretty good money.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that myself. And every time I go through the closet, I find things, I'm like, someday I'm going to sell that. And then it just comes down to the hassle of listing and everything. But you're right. Some of the ways now electronically that you can unload things, you'd be surprised what you can get to stock up. Another way that we can save without really changing our habits too much is just to look at what we're paying for with entertainment. And you're saying all those subscriptions that we have added on to in the last couple of years, maybe just pare that back a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, look at all your subscriptions. Everything is a subscription right now, Steve, as you know. And instead of watching all these entertainment streaming services, watch the Johnny Depp trial. That's entertaining enough, and it's free.
That's what we tell people every day. We're like, we're here all morning long. It's free entertainment, hopefully, for folks. But I get it. A lot of people, you still have what you want to watch. Maybe pick your favorites. And we're actually seeing some people going back, and I'm going to just jump around here a little bit, going back to cable in some ways, because they said instead of having all these different subscriptions, at least I know I'm getting everything under one. So maybe those habits are changing a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, check out services like YouTube TV. I went from paying like $300 a month for cable to like $85 a month in YouTube TV. And as you said, you get tacked on with some of the subscriptions, but it's still quite a bit cheaper when you lay it out.
Yeah, something like that, you can save $2,500 a year. It'll add up in a hurry. Okay, finally, let's think how rich people think here when it comes to taking the money that we have and making it work for us. A lot of people, especially in a down economy, get more. You see the negative. You say, oh, I could lose my money if I put it into investments, as opposed to, in many cases, looking at it like it might be a good time to get in on things. How do we start so that we go from basically storing money in our mattress to making at least a little bit?
Yeah, rich people don't put their money in banks because they pay so little, and then they charge us 17% for a credit card, and they make the spread, and that's why banks are so wealthy. But you don't have to jump to the markets either, which is, said at the opening here, that are so crazy right now, and they're probably going to stay crazy, and there's probably a correction coming our way. But if you work with a financial professional and you educate yourself a little bit about how money works, you can get in safe investments where there's no downside, where you can't lose money, but yet there's a little bit of an upside.
How much of an upside are we talking about here? Even, 3-4%, something like that can make a difference?
Oh, no, you can get 8, 10, 12% if you work with a financial professional. Just don't try to do it by yourself. It's difficult.
Okay, some good advice there. Finally, what are your thoughts coming up the rest of the year? I mean, some people are saying it might be a bumpy ride and even out. Some people use the correction word. Some people use a recession word. How do you see the next 6 months or so playing out?
Well, as you know, Steve, no one's got a crystal ball, but we've got war in Europe that looks like it may be expanding. We had inflation. The markets are pretty jumpy right now. So I would take a very conservative approach. Hopefully, it'll turn out okay, but you just never know what's going on. There's a lot of chaos in the world. All
right. Would you invest right now? If you had money sitting on the sidelines, would you jump in?
Always investing, always investing. Just do it more conservatively, where you don't have so much exposure to money that you can't afford to lose.
All right. Steve's book is How Money Works. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks, Steve.
All right, appreciate it. We'll send it back to you guys on the couch. It's tough, but like you said, consult the expert before you put all your money into any one
Yeah.
place. That is the key.
Now more than ever. All right, Steve, thank you. Some good advice there. 9:19, coming up a little later, an emotional tribute.